there are very powerful tones that have extraordinary effects on the human physiology, for example.
Absolutely, and that's where we're at with this. These revelations are awesome. For example, when you laugh, ha ha, the ha sound. When you yawn, it's similar. It's ya or ha. And when you sigh, it's the same thing, ah. And when you even scream, it's ah. There's this ah-ah sound. And that ah sound, if you go to my friend and colleague Jonathan Goldman's sacredtempleofsound.org, and tomorrow they're having a wonderful Valentine's Day sound healing day, you can actually
What would
chant.
we find?
I'm sorry?
What would we find there?
You'll find hundreds, if not thousands, of people online that automatically, when you sigh, when you chant, when you laugh, you're actually vibrating the same frequency as green grass, as the botanical world is celebrating, as the sun is emitting. It's this amazing reality where we begin to realize that the voice, the sounds, are creative. Just like in the book of Genesis, in the beginning, you had the Creator, you had the water. Then in Genesis 1:2, it says that the Holy Spirit of the Creator hovered over the face of the water, divided the waters from the waters, into which then, into this dome or firmament that the Bible calls it, that the physics world calls the quantum field, the words, which are sounds, which are frequencies. Mathematics was spoken, let there be light, and out pops the sun. And that's very similar to the model that dolphins display when they sonically vibrate underwater bubble rings up to about 5,000 degrees, and through this process that science calls sonoluminescence, light actually comes out of the water. So it's fascinating to realize that these sacred sounds are inherent in particularly the vowels, A-E-I-O-U, which is consistent with all the different languages.
Okay, so the beginning of the universe very well could have been a sound, and it is codified in the Bible as let there be light, right?
Yeah, exactly. And light came out of sound. So you've got sound being the principal fundamental creative technology, and you look at your own lips, that essentially makes your lips and your sounds that you emit with your lips the most powerful healing technology on earth.
Well, come to think of it, there's a passage in the Old Testament that actually speaks to this, no pun intended. It's the story of Moses, and he killed those 2 Egyptian men. And the way he did it is significant. It is said that he killed them by saying a tetragrammaton, the sound of the Word of God.
Well, that's fascinating. The whole Bible stories are tremendously supportive to the science that we're now discovered, because if you look at Moses was also bade to open the matrix and was blessed by God to open up the matrix. Of course, the story of the crossing of the ocean whereby the seas parted for Moses, and the reality was that this whole concept of a matrix, which is literally what Marco Rodin and Victor Showell and the other mathematicians and the geniuses in physics say, that the universe is created by a mathematical matrix that then, again, sound frequency matrix is what's creating. You begin to see that this is extremely powerful, it's sacred, and we've been really, really blessed. And
well, look, there's a lot of substantiation for this that's coming out on different levels. For example, agrosonics, the use of sound to interact with plants to make them grow faster. Mm-hmm. We all heard the story of the guy who had a vineyard in Europe, and he played Mozart for his plants, and they grew really well. But there's even more research that suggests they can actually target with specific frequencies to specific plants, and they can accelerate the growth by 50, 100 times.
Exactly. Yep. It's also called biosonics, and it's being used. And I've been involved with some of the folks that have designed those types of growth chambers, and we do that type of experimentation in Hawaii